A Hamas commander is murdered in his Dubai hotel room. Israel is under pressure to explain its involvement. What will be the international impact? And will the killers get away with it? This is Inside Story. Hello there, warm welcome to the programme. I'm Shuli Ghosh. Dubai's police chief has said from now on people suspected of being Israeli, even if they hold foreign passports, won't be allowed into the United Arab Emirates. It's the latest fallout from the assassination of Hamas commander Mabhouh al-Mabhouh, a crime the police are pinning squarely on the Israeli intelligence agency Mossad. Here's what we know. Mabhouh checked into the Al Bustan Rotana Hotel on January the 19th. Within hours of his arrival, he was killed in his room. Police say he was injected with a muscle relaxant before being suffocated. Dubai authorities say 27 suspects were involved in the hit. 12 were carrying British passports, 6 Irish, 4 French, 1 German and 3 Australian. The suspects are accused of stealing the identities of innocent people. At least 16 of them appear to have used the names of dual nationality citizens living in Israel. Well, Israel has neither confirmed nor denied involvement. But Dubai's police chief says he's certain Mossad is responsible and that the suspects are hiding in Israel.
Israel must not carry out its assassinations on our land. This is an insult to Britain, to Australia, to Germany and to New Zealand. If the Mossad dipped their hand in blood and wiped it on European passports, our treatments of Europeans will remain the same. In the future, those we suspect of carrying dual nationality will be treated very carefully.
Well, joining our discussion today are our guests. In Dubai, Riyad Khawaji, the founder and CEO of the Institute for Near East and Gulf Military Analysis. In Tel Aviv, we have Ronen Bergman, an Israeli investigative journalist and the author of The Secret War with Iran. And in London, Crispin Black, an independent intelligence consultant and writer on terrorism and security. Gentlemen, welcome all three of you to the programme. Riyad, let's start with you. Dubai police say they're looking for 27 suspects. That does seem to be a huge amount of people.
Well, it does, usually, but in such operations, I mean, we've known that the Mossad and the Israelis don't take chances. They send specialized teams from the scouts to those in charge of logistics, to those in charge of ISR, meaning intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance, to those who are in charge of executing the operation. So having this such number of operatives to carry out an assassination is not totally unusual, especially when the party involved, the Mossad here, always gives priority to the safe exit of its operatives. And
so you're pretty sure it's Mossad then? There's no question about that?
There's no question, and even most of Israelis are convinced that it's the Mossad. There's no question in anybody's mind. You know, all the diplomats I've met, all the security officials I've met here and outside are 100% convinced it's the Mossad.
Ronen, let's talk about the method of murder. A dose of muscle relaxant followed by suffocation. I guess it was supposed to look like a natural death. Does that sound like Mossad?
Well, there were numerous, I don't know who was behind the plot, the assassination in Dubai, but there were some cases in the past. One example, a guy called Wadia Haddad, who was behind the hijack of Air France aircraft to Entebbe, leading to the Entebbe, famous Entebbe raid in 1976, and other Fatah or Palestinian terrorist attempts and operations. He was poisoned by chocolate. He was very fond of chocolate and was then poisoned, rushed to Eastern German hospital. Nothing could be done, and he finished his life in great agony and great suffering. This was done by Mossad. A failed assassination attempt on Khalid Mashal in 1997 in Amman, the political leader of Hamas, was also carried out by lethal poison poured into his ear. So Mossad is known for using such techniques that are supposed to leave no mark. I don't know if Mossad was behind that, but if the Dubai police is correct in the forensic analysis of what happened, then this is a highly amateur work. Why should someone try to drug someone in order to strangle him? You can strangle him when you come into his room. You can stab him. You can shoot him using a silencer. So if this is
but none
the
of that
right
would look like a natural
analysis
death, would
of
it?
what happened, the mechanism of death, it wouldn't look, if you were strangling someone, it wouldn't look like a natural death. So I would think that it's either not an official government intelligence service, or that the Dubai police is wrong in describing the exact mechanism of death.
Crispin, we're told that DNA and a set of fingerprints were found. Would that help if it was Mossad? I mean, do secret agents have records like that on file?
Well, no, I'm not sure they do. And remember that whoever it was appears now to have escaped elsewhere, probably back to Israel. I must admit, there are some details of this murder assassination that are odd. I think 27 is too many. Previous speaker was right to say that Mossad is always very keen, religiously keen, to recover all their agents safely back to Israel. But 27 people is a large number of people. A lot can go wrong. But I think the explanation as to who it was probably lies in the fact we mustn't take our eyes off the fact that whoever it was achieved their aim, which was to kill Mr. al-Mabhouh, and then managed to escape. I'm not sure, and I think it probably was Mossad, I'm not sure they cared particularly about the public relations impact or anything else like that. That would be ancillary to their main aim, which was to take this person out.
Yeah, they didn't seem to care about being caught on surveillance camera. I mean, let's talk about the footage, particularly what it showed about the agents. Former US intelligence officer Robert Ayres says the best intelligence agent in the world is 5'6", balding and pudgy, and being middle-aged can help. That does describe half the Al Jazeera newsroom. But Kristen, is it strange that Dubai police were able to identify the suspects from this surveillance footage when there must have been hundreds of people wandering around that hotel at that time?
Well, I think if you're good at looking at CCTV, and more police forces are getting good at it, and remember, Dubai is coming on and on in the world and becoming more sophisticated every day, it is possible to work out who was where at whatever time. And Bob Ayres was right to, I was talking to him last week, was right to say that actually half these people seem to be bald. I mean, I think the fact is that it's clear whoever did the murder didn't really mind about being picked up on CCTV. The fact that a lot of these men appeared to be bald, I mean, I'm bald, but my guess is that these are men who in real life, wherever they're from, probably have perfectly good heads of hair. Shaving your head, Yul Brynner style, is one of the quickest ways of changing your appearance. Again and again, when you look at these pictures, I get the sense that they didn't really mind that the Dubai police would put two and two together after the action.
Riyadh, Ronan says that one possibility is that Dubai police are completely wrong. Do you think that perhaps Mossad, whoever carried out this murder, wasn't counting on Dubai police to investigate so thoroughly?
Well, actually, I agree that they were not counting on the Dubai police being able to uncover as much as they have done so far. And at the same time, it's not the first, you have to remember, it's not the first time the Israelis have used, passports of foreign countries to carry out operations, and they managed to withstand the diplomatic repercussion that followed. I believe it's part of their arrogance and overconfidence. That no matter what, they can always use their lobby and use the alibi that we were after so-called terrorist figures, and therefore we are justified with the means of using passports. And therefore, they actually did not care, or they would not have cared if they were uncovered after they had exited the country, because if you look at the reaction of most analysts, they all brag that, this is going to be a very small repercussion, maybe a small slap on the wrist, but nothing serious to Israel's standing diplomatically on the international arena.
OK, well, let's look at that diplomatic impact. The countries whose passports had been used were quick to react, but some were harsher in their criticism than others. The British Prime Minister, Gordon Brown, said it was a matter for investigation, and the UK would wait for all the facts before any conclusions were drawn. Ireland's foreign minister said that his government was angry and concerned at the use of its citizens' passports. French Prime Minister François Fillon said France had asked Israel for an explanation. And Germany's foreign minister said a thorough investigation into Mabhouh's death was urgently needed. The Australian reaction was by far the strongest.
As a long-standing friend of Israel, I repeat what I said before. Any state which uses or forges Australian passports, let alone uses or forges Australian passports for the purposes of assassination, is of the deepest concern to Australia, and we will not let the matter rest. It really goes to the integrity and fabric of the use of state documents, which passports are, for other purposes. That's why we will not leave a single stone unturned.
But I made it crystal clear to the ambassador that if the results of that conclusion, if the results of that investigation cause us to come to the conclusion that the abuse of Australian passports was in any way sponsored or condoned by Israeli officials, then Australia would not regard that as the act of a friend.
Ronan, clearly a lot of anger over the use of these passports. Do you think, if it was Israel, that Israel miscalculated and that there's an impact here that it hadn't counted on?
Yes, I must disagree with the other two speakers when they thought that if it was Israel behind that, then little was paid in the risk management prior to sending the member of the hit squad to Dubai, to the possibility of them being caught. The impressive work done by the police of Dubai was unexpected, not in the sense when they excavated and when they collected the CCTV records from the hotel. This is clear, and it is clear that the perpetrators are using all techniques in order to hide or to disguise themselves from these CCTVs. The problem was, or the unexpected capability of the police of Dubai was to corroborate information and footage coming from 8 different sources, 8 different cameras in the hotels, in the shopping malls, in the airport, and corroborate them on a one timeline, one database with the information coming from the cell phone records.
And Ronan, Mossad's made this miscalculation before, hasn't it? I mean, Mossad has screwed up with using other countries' passports in the past. I mean, it caused a diplomatic incident with Canada when it, in the failed attempt on Khalid Mishal's life.
And one of the main conclusions of the 3 investigation committees was that this miscalculation of risk of the diplomatic blunder just didn't worth the life of Khalid Mashal and then the target of that failed assassination attempt. So I would think that if someone had in advance calculated, had enough intelligence to realize that this is a high risk, that someone can unsolve the case, and this would lead to this international turmoil, then a different decision would have taken place, either to a different modus operandi, to a different place, or even to give up the whole operation, because the life of someone who is deemed extremely dangerous to the national security of Israel, but still doesn't worth the blunder that we're witnessing right now.
Crispin, this issue of using passports from other nations, I mean, people are saying these were genuine passports. They just had different photographs in. I thought the whole point of security advances and new technology was that this kind of thing was extremely difficult to do.
Well, I think it is extremely difficult to do for non-state actors, if I can put it like that. But let's turn time back to something like the Second World War. It was very easy for the opponents of the Western Allies to counterfeit our currency, for instance. I mean, the Germans had a very, very good counterfeiting system going on, and they planned at one point to flood the UK with fake pounds that we could barely tell the difference. Even the Bank of England experts could barely tell the difference. And I think we're seeing some of that in this. And of course, it all touches, when you hear the Australian Prime Minister and the British Prime Minister, it all touches on a sort of bigger issue, if you like, not just assassination and the politics or the rights and wrongs of the Middle East, but our own border security. We have a problem here, or there's a lot of discussion at the moment about immigration and We're told every day that our borders will be electronically secured and so on and so forth. And it looks as though actually people with some nous and some resources behind them can penetrate that sort of check or electronic border reasonably easily. And I think that's one of the underlying worries beneath this whole case.
Riyadh, there's a possible US connection, isn't there? The credit cards apparently were issued. 13 of the 27 suspects used prepaid MasterCards issued by Metabank, which is a regional American bank, according to Dubai police. As far as I'm aware, the US haven't asked for any answers from Israel.
Well, I mean, when you're investigating the course of the banking sector, is a whole different route over here. We are still waiting for answers. I mean, the Emirati Central Bank is still waiting for answers from the US side on these credit cards. The exact question Dubai police wants to know is under whose name these cards were issued and on what basis, meaning those who got them, what documents did they present to acquire these cards. This also has here a US angle. It will expose US procedures to get credit cards, and it could have its own repercussions. But on the issue of the passports over here, I was having a discussion with people from the Interpol on this issue, and they said that there's been a proposal that's gone on for a long time to prevent countries or organizations like the Mossad from doing such things, is by integrating the passport agencies internationally, so that when somebody's attempting to steal an identity, using a real, good, genuine passport, but have a different photo in it, once the officer at the airport swipes the passport, they will have the actual photo of this person and can tell immediately whether this person is the actual person, the actual owner of the passport, or a fraud is happening here. So there is an effort over here, but it's still in its early stages, and the Interpol is now trying to push to make this an international resolution for it.
OK. Let's discuss whether other parties may have been involved in this. Speaking at the Human Rights Council in Geneva, Manouchehr Mottaki, Iranian foreign minister, implied that some Western countries might have helped in planning the assassination. He said security services, intelligence people, or a part of their government have been involved, have been informed. They should answer to the world. Crispin, I guess he would say that, but one British newspaper has reported that British intelligence did know about this operation in advance. I mean, is that likely? Is there some kind of etiquette which says intelligence agencies inform each other?
Well, there are very complicated etiquettes about spying, but I'd be very, very surprised if the British authorities knew anything about this. And that's for one sort of cast iron, unchangeable reason, and that's Mossad's own security. Now, if it was them, they've got 20-plus people going to Dubai. Now, admittedly, Dubai is not as hostile as Iran or Syria. I mean, I think it'd be very difficult, actually, for Mossad to operate inside Iran. But nevertheless, it is not friendly territory. And if any hint got out prior to the assassination that Mossad was doing something, I think the security of the whole operation could have collapsed very quickly. And going back to how we began, that would then affect the recoverability back to the safe home base of Israel of Mossad's agents in the field. So I'd be very, very surprised if there was any leak about this whatsoever, because security of this kind of operation is a much more important consideration than smoothing ruffled diplomatic feathers.
Ronan, do you agree with that? We know that several Israeli ambassadors were called in for questioning. Is it likely they knew anything in advance?
No, I would assume that none of the ambassadors to any of the countries knew anything. Even if it was Israel, they were speaking the truth. Mossad, if Mossad was behind that, doesn't tell or doesn't inform the foreign ministry of anything. And I would be highly, highly surprised if anyone in British intelligence was informed. Israel, as the speaker before me said, Israel doesn't share this sort of operation. It's called the blue and white operation, meaning done only by Israeli and Israeli citizens. It doesn't inform anyone else about that. And I don't think that Britain or France or Germany or Australia would allow anyone to use their passports for conducting lethal operation with thunderous ending like this one. But with your permission, Shuli, I would like to add one point, and this is about the target. Mr. Mabhouh claimed he took responsibility in an interview with Al Jazeera in Arabic just a few months ago in the abduction and murdering of 2 Israeli soldiers. According to his testimony and testimonies of other followers in Hamas, he was part of the mechanism of helping Iran supply weaponry and other sophisticated armware equipment to Hamas in Gaza. So if the Dubai police likes to inquire so much, and this is I'm asking this as an Israeli, why don't they ask what on earth was he doing in Dubai? Why was he using, Mr. Mabhouh, the sovereignty, violating the sovereignty of Dubai to coordinate shipment of arms from Iran to a designated terrorist organization designated by most Europe and the United States called Harakat al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, i.e. the Hamas.
Do you think we'll ever know the full story? If it was Mossad, will we ever have proof?
No. I think that everybody. Now, it's not the important question because everybody are convinced that Mossad is behind that. But we must bear in mind that on the judicial level, even if the police Dubai would be, the Dubai police would be able to bring these people to a Dubai court, they don't have the smoking gun. They cannot connect these people to Mossad or to connect them to the murder.
So, will they get away with it?
Yeah, I mean, there are fingerprints, there are DNA already. There are, the surveillance footage showing these guys shadowing or trailing Mabhouh. There is, enough circumstantial evidence as well behind this. There is the use of, having these passports, these people using these passports happen to be, most of them, to be recent immigrants to Israel. I mean, there's a lot of evidence that I'm sure would be incriminating in a court of law. Now, as further to your question over here and the point that we've just heard on what is this guy doing in Dubai, first of all, Dubai police made it clear from day one that they were very annoyed that Mabhouh was here under a different name, that they did not know about his presence. And actually, the death of Mabhouh, when his body was first found, was ruled as a heart attack, as a natural causes. Only after they learned that this guy was actually Mabhouh, they did the autopsy that uncovered that it was an assassination.
Riyadh, we're going to have to leave there, gentlemen. It's been an interesting discussion and obviously differing views on what will happen in the long run. But thank you very much indeed for taking part. Our guests, Riyadh Kawaji, Ronan Bergman and Crispin Black. Thanks for watching at home. You can email us on insidestory@aljazeera.net. Until next time, from me, Shuli Ghosh, bye-bye for now.